ATP, water, and inorganic ions, AQA biology. Once again, we're going to go over the key terms. So you have ATP, which stands for adenosine triphosphate, surface tension, in which the water surface can be like an elastic band, affected by various intermolecular forces of attraction. The molecules on the surface are affected by the molecules above to pull together, resembling a stretched membrane. An ion is a charged atom, and inorganic ions are necessary for vital cellular activity needed to support muscle contractions and neuron activation. Now, these are things you're just going to have to learn, to be honest. There's not really a trick or a method that you can learn these faster with. Sorry. Energy and ATP. ATP structure is when you have two adenine molecules, one ribose sugar, and three phosphate groups. And between the phosphate groups, there are high energy bonds, which, when they are broken, release a small burst of energy. Now, the ATP equation is a reversible reaction, so it can be formed either from a condensation reaction or a hydrolysis reaction. So ATP plus water equals ADP plus PI and the small burst of energy, like I said before. How does ATP store energy? Well, it stores it in its high energy bonds between the phosphate groups. The bonds have low activation energy, so they can be easily broken, and the breaking of these bonds release energy. Now, how can ATP be reformed into ADP plus PI? Well, it's photophosphorylation, oxidative photophosphorylation, and substrate level photophosphorylation. Now, you're probably wondering why I didn't give a description of what these actually are. Well, this is because this actually comes up again in respiration and photosynthesis, as in that's the way how ATP is formed. However, because it is in photosynthesis and respiration, if I say it now, it's not going to make any sense. So I'm just going to save that. The uses of ATP. Well, the main ones, if you're in your exam, the ones that you should say would be metabolic processes, muscle contraction, and active transport would be the three that I would say to be on the safe side. If it asks for more, then you can talk about secretion and activation of molecules. How is ATP catalyzed? Well, ATP hydrolase hydrolyzes a reaction, and ATP synthase is one for condensation reactions. Water. What is the importance of water? Why do we need it? Well, it's important in metabolic processes. It's a good solvent. It helps the body in temperature control, and the molecules are cohesive. Now, this is the structure of a water molecule. So you can see it's one oxygen molecule bonded to two hydrogen molecules. You can tell that it's a polar molecule because of the delta positive and delta negative charges. The delta negative on the oxygen and the delta positive on the hydrogens. So because it is a polar molecule, it causes attraction between different molecules, other water molecules. It's got hydrogen bonding due to the electronegativity of the oxygen, and it contains covalent bonding because both hydrogen and oxygen are both nonmetals. What are the properties of water? Well, water is cohesive, it's an important metabolite, it's a good solvent, it has a high latent heat vaporization, the buffer temp is a buffer temp, that's wrong. It buffers temperature, so temperature can't go above a certain Celsius, and has surface tension. Why is water less dense than ice? Now this comes up, but it's usually like 2 marks, if that. And it's basically because when water is frozen, it expands. So because it expands, the density decreases. So because there's more space and the density decreases, it's less dense, so it floats, which is weird considering everything else is the other way around. Inorganic ions. Now, This is actually very short, so yeah. What are examples of ions? So you have hydrogen ions, which usually affect pH, iron ions, which are in hemoglobin, which is a quaternary structure with four polypeptide chains and a ion, Jesus, iron prosthetic group, and sodium, which is good for co-transport of glucose, and then you have phosphorus, which is needed for DNA. So you have the hydrogen atom, the iron atom, the sodium atom, and these are other ions that are found in the body. And the location of inorganic ions is in the cytoplasm of the cell. Now that's all there is for nucleic acids. Thank you for listening, and the next video will be about chapter 3, which is cell structure and the microscope stuff. Thank you for listening. If you like the video, then please click the like button and subscribe.